All right. How far you want me to go back?
As much as you want to share, it's completely up to you.
Okay. I I guess I can go back to I'll go back to teenage years. How about that? We'll go back
Mm-hmm.
to the teenage years since that's kind of what you wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So teenage years, I found myself struggling with school, getting in trouble a lot, doing drugs, drinking, all the things that you shouldn't be doing to kill time. Lived with I had three brothers
Mm-hmm.
and an older sister, but really ended up just at that time living with my two older brothers were about 10 years older than me, 15 years older than me, and then my parents. We spent a lot of time moving around a lot. My dad didn't necessarily have a steady job or anything like that. So we were living in hotels a lot of the time. We'd rent a house, and I always joke like, my dad paid first and last month's rent. That was the first and the last month's rent you were going to get from my dad. So he would try and milk that. Um, and then finally, graduated high school barely and got myself. I started working at a young age. So the one thing my dad did instill in me was work ethic. So I'd been working since I was 14 years old, and I'd always be, working a job so I would have money to have the things that I needed and wanted. So I got out of high school and started taking some community college classes. And at the same token, I was able to get into the mortgage business and got a mortgage job when I was about 19 years old. Taking loan applications, working alongside a senior loan officer, learning the business. And that's really kind of where my journey began. I decided that I was going to just, I'd move from one job to the next as the opportunities increased for me, and then became a loan officer. Didn't come until later on down the line. I had been in mostly management and support roles for most of the time. I had at that point, um, as I became a loan officer, then the crash happened. So in 2006, 2007, it was the Great Recession, and it was not good for the mortgage industry. We really were, the problem, not a solution. Like we
Mm-hmm.
were this time when we had the pandemic, we were the solution. People were able to
Yeah.
access money in their house. So at that point, I had met my wife. I had, had my first daughter, who was 3 years old at the time. She's now 16. And then my youngest daughter was on the way. We lost everything. So I wasn't really great at savings. At that point, I was a refinance loan officer. I just did refinances, and I would buy marketing leads. And I decided that that wasn't going to really work. I mean, at the end of the day, I had all my cars towed. We had our house foreclosed on. We had to move in this tiny little house, and that's when I just had one of those moments of desperation. So I really just prayed and decided I needed to do something different. And one of my friends had handed me a Core CD, which is the coaching company that I work for and have been a part of for about 10 years now. And I started listening to those CDs and started changing my tactics. And at this point, I was riding my bike to work. My income had dropped so much that in the area I lived to be considered poverty level, but I'm not one that really dwells on that. I was like, I need to get out of this hole as quickly as possible. So I just worked and worked and worked and followed the program until I could afford to get into the program. And as I did that, I just kept my head down, and uh, the life's changed significantly since. From having nothing to having everything that I can imagine. And my kids are grown up, and they'll have roof over their head, and they'll never be hungry, and they'll be able to go to college if they want. And I will never have a car towed out of my driveway again because my cars are free and clear. And that's kind of the journey to where I'm at now. Now it's all about helping other people pay it forward and helping other
Mm-hmm.
people accumulate wealth. For a long time, it was about me accumulating wealth and me, out of fear of having lost it all. And I had lost it all and had it and lost it with my dad growing up. So I had a inherent insecurity about that.
Mm-hmm.
But did get to a point where I wanted to just pay it forward to an industry that had done so much for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think I was 19, then I'll be 44 this year. It's been a long time in that industry. So half of it was the wrong way, the other half was more the right way, and now it's just more paying it forward.
Wow, yeah, that's really amazing to hear. I'm glad that everything has kind of worked out and you are so successful now. So I'm really glad that you were able to earn the success that you have. Is there any advice that you'd give to your 17-year-old self? Maybe just like a talk like, hey, this is some things that you're going to go through. These are some things you're going to learn, anything like that.
Yeah, I would say if I could go back, I would
Mm-hmm.
say enjoy the journey. Don't
Mm-hmm.
focus so much on the destination. Seek counsel of others
Mm-hmm.
that are in areas. So if you want to get in better
Mm-hmm.
health, then find the best health expert. If you want to get better
Mm-hmm.
financially, find the best financial expert. But seeking counsel from others, I think that's the hardest thing to do when you're a teenager because you think you know everything already.
Mm-hmm.
But the sooner you can seek counsel, the better. I would also tell myself save 20%,
Mm-hmm.
invest it, and don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Every paycheck, no matter what that paycheck is, if you just take 20%, if you have a 401k, max it out and don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the financial things that I would go back and tell myself.
Yeah, that's really important. A lot of people, they don't really teach teenagers how to really manage your money well. So I think that's something that's really important that every 17-year-old or even 15 to 16 should really start learning and investing in. So I think that's really important. Is there anything that you'd like to share to other 17-year-olds out there who maybe don't know what they want to do? Maybe they're kind of lost. They don't maybe not want to go to college, but they know they want to do something. Is there any small tidbits or advice you could give to say, hey, you might not know what you want to do, but this is definitely going to help you no matter what you do?
I told my daughter this, which is if you don't know what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
then your best bet is to go to college and get a business degree because a business
Mm-hmm.
degree, most people would like to make money
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter how much, but most
Mm-hmm.
people need to make money because you need a
Yeah.
roof over your head and food in your mouth. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say a business degree is going to be the degree that teaches you how to make money so that
Sure.
once you have it, if you want to be a photographer, well, cool, you can be a photographer and now you know how to make money at it. If you want to be a
Yeah.
baker, then you'll know how to make money at it. So I didn't finish college. I dropped out of college because the mortgage business took over my life at that point. But
Mm-hmm.
if I had to go back, you could learn things a lot faster and a lot sooner by going to school and learning it and seeking counsels from others versus 20 years of hard knocks experience. I think both are
Mm-hmm.
very important, but that's what I would say. Or if you find that you have a trade that you really like, whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
mechanic or whether it's computers or something like that, then just going after what it is that makes you happy. Because if you're doing what makes you happy, it doesn't matter the amount of money that it makes. As long as you save 20%, invest it, and leave it, then you will be okay when the time comes.
Yeah, that's really amazing information. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you just kind of like to throw out there? Maybe a quote, maybe something that you've learned along the way before you wrap this up?
No, I would just say if you're gonna do something, do it 100%. Don't
Mm-hmm.
do it haphazard. Don't do it 90 or 80%. If you're gonna do it 100%, and don't overthink things. Some people will overthink things. Failure is how you learn. Failure is how you
Mm-hmm.
get better. The successes are the dessert of your failures.
Mm, definitely. I think that's really important. And I really like that quote that success is the dessert of your failures. I really like that. So thank you so
Yeah,
much for taking the time and talking with me and sharing a lot of great information. This is really helpful and I can definitely see how I'll be able to use this in my life. So I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing this with me.
you're so welcome. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks. Take care.
You as well.
Bye.